So somebody can read the blue part.
One should be attracted by the beautiful vision of Krishna. His name is Krishna because he is all attractive. One who becomes attracted by the beautiful, all powerful, omnipotent vision of Krishna is fortunate. There are different kinds of transcendentalists. Some of them are attached to the impersonal Brahman vision, some of them are attracted by the supersoul feature, etc. But
So
one who is one who is attracted to the personal feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and above all, one who is attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna himself is the most perfect transcendentalist. In other words, devotional service to Krishna in full consciousness is the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Karma yogis, empiric philosophers, mystics, and devotees are all called transcendentalists, but one who is a pure devotee is the best of all. The particular words used here, ma shuchaha, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry, are very significant. One may be perplexed as to how one can give up all kinds of religious forms and simply surrender unto Krishna, but such worry is useless.
thank you.
Haribol.
So Prabhupada is mentioning here that one should be attracted by the beautiful vision of Krishna. So here, why he is making this point is Krishna has told Mam Ekam. So not to other forms of Krishna. So exclusively. So surrender is for whom? To Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada is mentioning here that we should be attracted to the form of Krishna only and nobody else's form. And he is also all attractive, very easy to be get attracted towards Krishna. Why? Because he is all attractive. And one who becomes attracted, the sadhaka, one who becomes attracted by the beautiful, all-powerful, omniscient vision of Krishna is fortunate person. There are different kinds of transcendentalists, and some of them are attached to impersonal vision. Some of them are attracted by the super soul. So who are attracted to impersonal vision? The Mayavadi or impersonalist. And then on the super soul, the yogis and other persons. And one who is attracted to the personal feature, who is that? Devotee. Above all, one who is attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna himself is the most perfect transcendentalist. And in the personal feature also, there are different kinds of devotees. But in that, one who is attracted towards Krishna is the most perfect transcendentalist. In other words, devotional service to Krishna in full consciousness is the most confidential part of knowledge. So what Prabhupada has told here is that Krishna is the supreme object of worship and he is the supreme sadhya. And what is the most supreme sadhana? Devotional service to Krishna in his consciousness, in full consciousness of Krishna is the most confidential or most supreme sadhana. So Krishna is the supreme sadhya. He is the only sadhya, Mamekam. He is the only sadhya. And he is also the supreme sadhya, only and supreme sadhya. And the process to achieve that sadhya and to achieve that goal, Krishna is the supreme goal. And to achieve that goal, the sadhana is bhakti, devotional service. So this point Prabhupada has highlighted here. After that, Prabhupada is telling the regarding the word ma shuchaha. So what is the meaning of Ma Shuchaha? Do not fear. So why Krishna has used this word, Ma Shuchaha, in this verse? So Prabhupada is telling that here what Krishna has told, surrender unto me. So one may think that Krishna is demanding Krishna's demand is very high. So that kind of thought may come in person's mind when Krishna is telling, surrender unto me. Then person will think, should I sacrifice so much and surrender to Krishna only? So that kind of thought may come. Then what will happen? So how I can live, how my all basic necessities will be taken care. So that kind of thought may come in person's mind. So thinking the mindset of persons. So Krishna has used this word, Ma Shuchaha. So that's why Krishna is telling, do not worry about other things. I will take care of the other thing. You just surrender unto me. Other worries are useless worry. And the worries about your maintenance and other things. So give up this useless worries, useless thought, and just surrender unto me. So like this. So that's why Krishna has used the word Ma Shucha. Do not worry. Then after giving the most confidential knowledge. So more or less, Krishna has completed his instructions here in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Krishna gives the Falashruti. What happens? One who imbibes these instruction in his life. So, in the 67th verse, so Krishna tells that whom his instructions should not be given. These instructions means this most confidential knowledge, which he has given in 65th and 66th verse. That should not be given to the following person, like that he mentions in the 67th verse. So what he is telling? Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashu shrusave vacham na cha mam yo bhyasuyati. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere, na tapaskaya, or devoted, or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Abhi suyati. So these kind of four persons, and who are not austere, who are not devoted, second, who are not engaged in devotional service, and who is envious of Krishna. So these kind of four, these are the four categories. So the person who comes under these four categories, so to them, this knowledge should not be given. Then thought may come in our mind. And then who is remaining? And because majority of the people, only devotee is remaining. So majority of the people, they fall in these four categories. So then how you can understand? And then whom we can preach? That question also come in our mind. And most people are also like this only. And they come either in this four category. So we have to understand the Krishna's mood when he is speaking this verse. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he has given very nice analogy to understand this point. So he's telling that we can understand this as a like king. King is there. So king has many sons. When the sons are very small in age, they are children, then he will not tell that where is the treasury of his kingdom. So uh, that secret, and a king will not reveal to his son when they are children. But when they grow up, when they are grown up, and at that time, king will reveal. And so, where is the treasury of his kingdom? So, like this only, Krishna is telling that when the person in these four stages, and this other knowledge can be given, but the confidential knowledge, sorry, that should not be explained. So when this confidential knowledge will be explained, when that person is grown up, and when he is not, when he is austere, and when he is devoted, when he is engaged in devotional service, and when he is not envious, at that time we can explain this knowledge to him, most confidential knowledge. Before this, when he is not austere, at that time the confidential knowledge and uh, other lower knowledge, which is lower than the most confidential knowledge, that knowledge can be given, and so that his purification can happen, and he can develop these four qualities which he has mentioned here. So at this time, one can explain this most confidential knowledge to that person when he is grown up. Like this, we can understand to whom we can explain and when we can explain to him. So we'll study the purport. Somebody can read the purport.
Persons who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality, or who are envious of greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. It is, however, sometimes found that even demoniac persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous. Even if one is not sensuous but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna but is not engaged in Krishna consciousness activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, bro. Prabhupada is mentioning here that so different categories Prabhupada is mentioning. So who cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita? So those who have not undergone austerities of the religious process. never attempted devotional service, second category, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical person, and who are envious of the greatness of Krishna. So to these categories, this most confidential part of knowledge should not be given up. And also, then Prabhupada mentioned that sometimes found that even demoniac person who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way. And so those who are envious and demoniac in nature, so they worship Krishna, but in a wrong way. So which is not based on the scriptures. So according to their own way, concocted way, they worship Krishna. And they explain Bhagavad Gita also according to their own way, not following the acharyas. So, but anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So, if we are sincere and serious and in understanding Krishna, then we have to avoid such commentaries which are not in parampara, which are written by demoniac and envious people. So then he mentions that these are the professional commentators. And another category he mentions that sensuous persons. To them also we cannot give this most confidential knowledge. After that, he mentions that and one who is not a devotee, that kind of person, also we should not give this most confidential knowledge. Not engaged in devotional service. There are many persons and envy Krishna. Why they envy Krishna? Right? Because Krishna has told there is nothing above him or equal to him. And so like this Krishna has mentioned before in the 10th chapter. So because of this, they envy Krishna. So that reason Prabhupada has given. And the person who has not understood the Bhagavad Gita from the devotees of Krishna should not comment on the Bhagavad Gita. First, he has to understand the Bhagavad Gita from devotees. Then only he can comment upon the Bhagavad Gita. So this point Prabhupada has mentioned. Then here, then what happens if somebody tells to such a person? So if somebody is envious of Krishna, so for such a person, somebody gives this confidential knowledge, and then what this envious person will think? So Krishna is so arrogant, and he is telling others, surrender unto me. And so everything he will take in negative, these envious people. And those who are not austere, so they will not be ready to do austerity of worshipping Krishna, offering homage unto Krishna, and becoming his devotee, acting under his direction, acting for Krishna. For these things, the person who is not austere, he will not be ready. So he will think that, why should I work for Krishna? I will work for myself only. So that's why Krishna is telling, better to avoid telling them this most confidential knowledge. You can tell them lower knowledge so that they can be purified and they can be engaged somehow according to their faith. And slowly they can come to this stage of being austere, being devoted to Krishna. So they can come to this stage after some purification. When they are purified, we can tell them this most confidential knowledge. And after mentioning this precaution in the 67th verse, then Krishna mentions the benedictions for the teacher or preacher who is teaching this Bhagavad Gita to others. So Krishna is telling, Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhaktveshu abhidhasyati bhakti mai param krutva mam e vaishyati asamshayah. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. If somebody explains this supreme secret, Guhya Jnan, which he has given in 65th and 66th verse to devotees who are devoted to Krishna, then for that person, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, after leaving this body, he will surely come to Krishna's planet. He will surely reach the Krishna. Like this, Krishna has mentioned. Somebody can read the purport.
Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only, for those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to take Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he will sure to go back home, back to Godhead.
In essence, what Prabhupada is mentioning is that Bhagavad Gita should be told to whom? He mentions that it should be told to devotees only, and it should not be explained to philosophical speculators and those who are not devotees. For them, it should not be told, but to the devotees, it should be told. And anyone who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance. So one who is preaching Bhagavad Gita in the parampara as it is, he will advance and he will get pure devotional state of life. And after that, he will return to the back home, back to Godhead. So this is the benediction given by Krishna for the teacher. So another benediction is given by Krishna for the teacher in the next verse. He is telling, Nacha tasman manusheshu kasmin me priya kruttama bhavita nacha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So one who is explaining Bhagavad Gita to devotees as it is. So this person is very dear to Krishna and nobody will be more dear than him to Krishna. So Krishna is telling that who is most dear to him. So this is Krishna's declaration. And This is not the sentiment of Krishna, but he is saying in general, as a devotional principle, Falashruti. Then, so we know that Krishna, especially he has mentioned here for the one who is sharing his message, one who is teaching his message. But also we know that even those who are practicing devotional service, those who are pujaris, those who are cooking for the devotees, cooking for the Lord, they are also dear to Krishna, because they are practicing devotional service and they are also serving the Lord and devotees. But here Krishna is mentioning in these verses, preachers are special. Like we can understand this from the analogy, like in a military. So everybody is important. Like in military also, there are cooks. There is medical staff also. There are many servants also, and they have for cleaning and other purposes. So all of them are important. But those who are in the front, so they are taking the bullets, and so they have some special position. So like this, those who are practicing devotional service, those who are devotees, so all of them are important, but especially among them, those who are in the front, so who are directly telling this message to others. So they have some special position. Then what is the preaching? And that also we can see little bit. That preaching is just not giving the message or speaking whatever is there in the scriptures and whatever he has heard from the devotees, and just speaking it as it is. That is also the part of preaching, speaking it as it is. But what is more important is inspiring others and to come closer to Krishna. So that is the real preaching. So speaking about Krishna, speaking his message, that is also part of preaching. That is also important. But especially inspiring others to practice devotional service and come closer to Krishna. So this is the real preaching. And one of the Christian preacher, Saint Francis, he has also told. So he has told that he preach whole day, and he preaches whole day, and he speaks a little when it is required. So this is the real preaching, preaching by our example. So we apply the values, instruction in our own life. So that inspire people more than just speaking. Speaking also is required. So that is also service. But if we are, whatever we are speaking, if we apply in our life and we set example, and so that inspires more to the people. And also there is another saying that people do not know how much we know, and that they don't care how much we know, but what they care is how much we care for them. And so this is also very important in preaching. So how much the preacher knows and what he is telling. In beginning, people cannot understand also philosophy much when we are telling. But what inspires them, what attracts them is the devotee's caring nature and how this devotee cares for me. So that thing, the inspire the receiver, and that thing he takes seriously, that this person really cares for me. And this caring nature is required in preaching. And also another definition of preaching is, Srila Prabhupada has told that in preaching, you have to refute atheism. So what we can understand by this statement of Srila Prabhupada, that in preaching, we can refute atheism. Means what? That in preaching, we have to remove the obstacles which are there on the path of the people. They think that these are the obstacles. That obstacles we have to remove in the preaching. So like Srila Prabhupada, mainly he focuses on the obstacles. And so which are the main obstacles, like sense gratification and worshipping demigods. And so these kind of obstacles we have to remove in the preaching. And also we can understand from this verse that how much dear Srila Prabhupada and those who are assisting him in the initial days, they are speaking about Krishna, Srila Prabhupada and other his disciples. So how much they are dear to Krishna. Because of them, so many devotees, so many people, they have taken up devotional service and they have became the devotees. So that's why they are very dear to Krishna. We can understand from this verse. So like this, the benedictions, Falashruti, Krishna has given till now. Then Krishna explained, he becomes more compassionate. So he is now mentioning, then if one is not sharing, if one is not able to share this message, and what that person will do, or how he can be dear to Krishna. So Krishna has told that one who is sharing this message is very dear to him. But one who is not sharing this message of Bhagavad Gita, this message of most confidential knowledge, then what will be the position of that person? That Krishna mentioned in the next verse. He mentions that adhyashyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvada mavayoho jnana yajnena tenaham ishtahasyam iti me matihi. Is telling, and I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worship me by his intelligence. One who is not sharing this message, but he is studying this message. So what that person is doing? That person is worshipping Krishna with intelligence. So if one is not able to share the message, if one cannot share the message of Bhagavad Gita, then at least he can study this message of Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is explaining here how devotional study of Bhagavad Gita is. So studying Bhagavad Gita is very much devotional, and that is worshipping Krishna with our intelligence. So many times devotees say that now many years we have passed. So we are a Rasik Bhakta also. We are not so much into Tattva, but we are Rasik. And so we read only Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And so we do not read Bhagavad Gita. And like that, many devotees, they tell. But Krishna is telling that reading and studying this conversation and is where, what is this? Is worshipping him with intelligence. So how important is studying Bhagavad Gita? We can understand from this verse. And it is very much the devotional practice and studying Bhagavad Gita. And also it is an integral part of our bhakti, this study of Bhagavad Gita. So one should study this Bhagavad Gita in a devotional disposition. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has mentioned that how we can study this Bhagavad Gita in a mode of this South Indian Brahmana. So how he is studying Bhagavad Gita. He's just studying because his guru has ordered him. So we can study in such a devotional mode this Bhagavad Gita. And how what we can understand from Bhagavad Gita, that what is the devotional service, and so how what is the supreme goal, and supreme goal is Krishna, and how we can achieve that supreme goal, and that supreme sadhana is bhakti. And there are many processes for achieving Krishna: karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and but among all these processes, bhakti yoga is the supreme process, and it is the supreme sadhana to achieve the supreme goal, Krishna. And like this, we can understand if we study Bhagavad Gita from devotees and from our acharyas. So, so one who is not able to share, Krishna is telling, at least he can study Bhagavad Gita and worship me with intelligence. So if somebody is not able to study also, if somebody is not reading this conversation, and somebody is not studying this conversation, then what is the position of that person? So Krishna is increasing his compassion more and more, and he is increasing his love. And if that person is not studying the Bhagavad Gita also, then what will be the position of that person? So Krishna is mentioning in 71st verse, Shraddhavan anusuyascha shrunuyad api yo narah sopi muktah shubhallokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So what Krishna is telling in this verse, that if somebody is not able to study the Bhagavad Gita and he is not able to share also, then what he can do, he can at least hear, and he can at least listen with faith and without envy. And faith is required in the message of Bhagavad Gita, and he should not envy Krishna. Then also, if somebody is hearing also this Bhagavad Gita, then what will happen? The person will be free from sinful reaction, and he will go to the auspicious planets. So our acharyas, they are telling that auspicious planets means not only Svargaloka, but the planets like Dhruva Loka. And like in Dhruva Loka, who is there? Dhruva Maharaj is there. So in these kind of planets, he will get the association of devotees also, pious people also. And so such kind of higher destination somebody will get if just he is listening Bhagavad Gita with faith and without envy. So this is the benediction given by Krishna. So if somebody is not able to share, not able to study, then at least he should hear this message of Bhagavad Gita. Then study the purport. Somebody can read the purport.
This 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class, and in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Generally, those who are free from sinful reactions, those who are righteous, very easily take to Krishna consciousness. The word Punya Karmana is very significant here. This refers to the performance of great sacrifices like the Ashwamedha Yajna mentioned in the Vedic literature. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service but who are not pure can attain the planetary system of the pole star or Durvaloka, where Durva Maharaja is presiding. He is a great devotee of the Lord and he has a special planet which is called the pole star. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Prabhupada has also mentioned that point of that person who is hearing Bhagavad Gita with faith and without envy. So such a person will go to the planets like Dhruvaloka. So where he has opportunity to associate with devotees and he can practice devotional service there. So in the beginning, what Prabhupada is telling, that Krishna has mentioned in the 67th verse that do not explain this knowledge to those who are not devotees, those who are not austere, and those who are not practicing devotional service. Do not explain to them this knowledge. But still, devotees, they conduct open pandal programs and openly they preach about this message. So what is the mood of the devotee in doing this kind of activity? And so does that devotee and acting against Krishna's instruction? And so that point Prabhupada is clarifying. So that devotee is conducting classes because there are many devotees and who will come and attain that program. So in that, many envious people will also come. But what will happen by hearing from the devotee? So hearing from a bona fide devotee, and they will be free from sinful reaction, and they will attain the higher planets. Like this Prabhupada is telling, and they will be purified. And although then they can understand. And although currently they are not at the ideal situation, they are not on the ideal position to learn the Bhagavad Gita, but other messages they can learn, and those who are not confidential messages, and slowly they can also become devotees. So that's why devotees, they conduct the open programs, pandal programs, and they will attain the highest position in the other planets. Then the word Punya Karmanam, Prabhupada is mentioned, is very significant. And he's telling that it refers to the performance of great sacrifice like Ashwamedha Yajna. So those who have performed these kind of sacrifices, so they have performed many pious activities, so they will come to devotional service very quickly. those who come to devotional service, but till now they have not purified completely. And they will go to where? They will go to the higher planets like Dhruvaloka, because they are not completely pure. If they are completely pure, then they will go to Golok Vrindavan. So these kind of Falashruti. And so Krishna has given till 70 first verse. Then after speaking like this, then he asked Arjuna. So till now, from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is only asking questions to Krishna. So this is the first time Krishna is asking something to Arjuna. Like teachers ask the students, so are you understanding and what I am telling? So like this, Krishna is asking Arjuna. What he is asking, we'll see. Kaschid etat shrutam partha tva ekagrane chetasa kachid ajnana sammoha pranastaste dhananjaya. Pranashtaste dhananjaya. Krishna is asking, O son of Prutha, O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjaya, have you heard this with an attentive mind? So whatever I have told to you, this most confidential knowledge, have you heard this with attentive mind, or your mind is somewhere else? And are your ignorance and illusion now dispelled? So whatever illusion and was there, and you are confused between fight or not fight, that illusion is removed or not. So like this, Krishna has asked to Arjuna. So like this, many times when there are many classes in the yatras and all, and so at that time, a speaker also, and they ask the audience, am I audible? And in the beginning they ask. But here Krishna and Arjuna, they are very near to each other. So Krishna has not asked the question that, am I audible? And so he is directly asking that, have you heard this with attentive mind? And are your ignorance and are all your questions are resolved or not? So why Krishna is asking these questions particularly? Have you heard with an attentive mind? Because that situation and that incident is of the war, before war. So that incident is before war. And in war, so it is very difficult to concentrate mind because of this war situation. And there might be high possibility that his mind may be disturbed. So that's why Krishna is asking particularly these questions. So have you heard with attentive mind? And Krishna has addressed here Arjuna as the conqueror of wealth. You are a great conqueror of wealth. Why? Because Krishna is asking him that have you conquered this wealth? And so what is the wealth? This confidential knowledge is the wealth. And so that confidential knowledge wealth, have you understood or not? Have you heard this attentively or not? And so this is the real wealth, and which Krishna is giving. And so what Krishna can give us is Krishna himself. And Krishna himself is the real wealth for devotees. And nothing else is valuable to devotee but Krishna himself. which he can give us to his devotees himself. Like this, we can understand this verse. So somebody can read the purport.
The Lord was acting as the spiritual master of Arjuna. Therefore, it was his duty to inquire from Arjuna whether he understood the whole Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective. If not, the Lord was ready to re explain any point or the whole Bhagavad Gita if so required. Actually, anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master like Krishna or his representative will find that all his ignorance is dispelled. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or fiction writer. It is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or from his bona fide spiritual representative is sure to become a liberated person and get out of the darkness of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. So what Prabhupada is telling here, that why Krishna is asking? Because Krishna is the teacher here and Arjuna is the student. So as a teacher, so Krishna wanted to check. So does he understood really or not? That was Krishna's mode. And if he has not understood, and so Krishna is not like the professional teacher. And so nowadays in a school, what happens? The teacher, they teach to the students and in such a way that very superficial way, and they teach. And if students ask some question and they ask some doubts, then what teacher they tell to students is, come to my tuition and come for private class. So why? They want to take money from the students. So Krishna was not that kind of teacher. So Krishna is selflessly, he is teaching Arjuna. He's not like the professional teacher. And so what is Krishna's purpose? So Krishna's purpose in teaching that he wants to remove the ignorance of Arjuna. He wants to remove the confusion in life of Arjuna. And like this, Prabhupada tell in the beginning. And after that, Prabhupada is telling that regarding the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is not some ordinary book written by a poet or fiction writer, but it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So anybody who is fortunate to hear the teachings of Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master is sure to become liberated and is surely be elevated in his spiritual path. And his ignorance will be removed. He will come to know that he is not the body but spirit soul. He will come to know that Krishna is the supreme goal. He is the supreme sadhya. And bhakti is the supreme sadhana to achieve the supreme goal. So then Arjuna gives the answer to this Krishna's question. So that we'll see after the break. We'll meet at 6:47. Stop. Till now, we have discussed that. The last point was Krishna has asked the question to Arjuna. Now Arjuna is giving the answer. Arjuna uvacha nashta moha smritirlabdva tvat prasadan maya chuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. What Arjuna is telling, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. So Arjuna is telling, my illusion is dispelled. I have regained my memory by your mercy. And Tvat Prasada, that Arjuna is telling, I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instruction. So my illusion has now gone. I am ready to act according to your instruction. So this is the last verse in the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So from the next verse onward, Sanjaya is speaking. Sanjaya Uvacha. From the 74th verse till the 78th verse. So Sanjaya is speaking. So this is the last verse between the Krishna and Arjuna's conversation. So Arjuna has confirmed that his illusion is now dispelled. Now he's telling Tvat Prasadat. So this Prasad, so before also it has come many times in this chapter. So mercy of Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita, very much analysis is there. So lot of technicalities, analysis is there. But ultimately, here Arjuna is telling, so what is the path to advance is the mercy of the Lord and his devotees, and is the path. So to advance in the devotional life. And another thing here is Arjuna, what he is referring to Krishna, O infallible one, means Achyuta. In beginning also, he has referred to Krishna Achyuta, and at the end also, he is referring to Krishna as a Achyuta. So what is the meaning of word Achyuta? That Krishna never falls. And also, Krishna never fails his devotees. So whatever position a devotee is, Krishna always lifts the devotee. He doesn't fail his devotee. So what we can understand here, like Arjuna is changed. So first he has, before hearing the Bhagavad Gita, he has illusion. But after hearing the Bhagavad Gita, his illusion is gone. And he has regained his memory by Krishna's mercy. Similarly, after reading, studying Bhagavad Gita, so there must be some change in us also. And so at the end, if we appreciate the speaker, that is also good. But real appreciation is what? So whatever the teacher, preacher, he has spoken in the class, that we apply in our life. That is the real application, appreciation, and we can say, in our life. So what Krishna has told here, surrender to him. And this surrender is will not weaken us, but it will empower us. So Arjuna is now ready for the surrender, and he is ready to follow whatever Krishna has told. So like this, we can understand this verse. So I will just summarize the purport. Only 2-3 verses, so that we can complete this chapter in today's discussion. So in the beginning, what Prabhupada is telling, the constitutional position of a living entity. So who Arjuna is representing this constitutional position of the living entity. And this constitutional position, living entity has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. So this is the constitutional position. And this position is meant for self-discipline. And living entity is the Jivere Swarupa hai Krishnera Nityadas. He is the eternal servant of the Lord. This is the constitutional position of the living entity. If this is the constitutional position, then how the living entity become conditioned? And this we have studied before also. How he becomes conditioned? When he forgets the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he forgets that I am his servant, then he becomes conditioned, and he comes under the three modes of material nature. Then after this, Prabhupada mentioned, then constitutional position is that he is the servitor, and he will serve either Maya or Krishna. In normal condition, he will serve Krishna. In illusory condition and in the conditioned state, he will serve the Maya, the illusory energy, external energy. And at that time, he is bound by lust and desires, Ichha and Dvesh. Lust and desire, Kama and Ichha. By these things, he is bound. So what is that illusion? Where he is bound by lust and desire, and he thinks himself as the master and not as the servant. And this is the last snare of Maya. And he thinks that he can become God in this last step. And when illusion is removed, then what is the meaning? Then he will come to know that he is the servant. And he agrees to act in Krishna consciousness. Then Prabhupada is telling the significance of the word moha. He's telling this moha word is very significant. And it refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. Moha means which is opposed to knowledge. Real knowledge is living entity is the servant of God. God is the master. So this is the real knowledge. And how to overcome this illusion? By Lord's mercy, by devotee's mercy, we can come out of the illusion, like this Prabhupada mentions. And what is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness means acting according to Krishna's order. So that is Krishna consciousness. And why a conditioned soul acts under illusion? Because lacking knowledge of Krishna's position as a supreme proprietor, enjoyer, he gets controlled. And he forgets that Krishna is the friend of all living entity. He forgets that Krishna has 6 opulence. And then, so this is the situation when he is under illusion. Then Bhagavad Gita, what is the role of Bhagavad Gita? So by reading Bhagavad Gita, that one will understand Krishna factually as it is. And like Arjuna has understood that Krishna is his friend and he is his master. He is also the supreme personality of Godhead. And so Arjuna is ready to act under his direction. And the person will understand what is Krishna's plan, what is Krishna's desire by studying the Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada gives the example of Arjuna. Like Arjuna has understood the Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population and to establish the dharma. So Arjuna is now ready to become part of Krishna's plan. So like this, Prabhupada explained this verse. So now here the discussion between the Arjuna and Krishna is over. Then we know that Sanjaya is also explaining this conversation to Dhritarashtra. So now Sanjaya is speaking his realization after the discussion between Krishna and Arjuna is over. He is speaking his realization. His realization are there from 74 to 78th verse. In 5 verses, he is speaking his realization. So what is his realization? He's telling, Sanjaya uvacha iti aham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadam imam ashrusham adbhutam romaharshanam. He's telling, thus I have heard the conversation of two great souls and Mahatmas, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. So here Sanjaya is calling Arjuna as a Mahatma. Krishna is Mahatma, we know, and his master, Mahatma. But Arjuna, who is following Krishna, to him also Sanjaya is calling Mahatma. So one who follows the great person, who follows the Mahatma, he also becomes the Mahatma. That point we can understand here. And another thing is that, so Krishna, what Sanjaya, he is telling this message as wonderful. So he's feeling this message as a wonderful message. And what is happening? His hairs are standing. So why hair stands? We know that hair stand because of the fear also, and because of the ecstasy also. So here Sanjaya's hairs are standing because of ecstasy, not because of fear. And in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's hair, they are also standing. That is why Arjuna's hair, they are standing. That is because of fear. And in the beginning also, when he saw that Bhishma, Drona, and at that time also, his there are different symptoms. His hairs are standing, and skin is quivering, and throat is drying. And these are because of fears. And these different symptoms Arjuna has developed. So then there is a purport. I'll just summarize purport to 74th verse. So Sanjaya, he is telling that this message is very wonderful. So Prabhupada explained that what is the wonderful about this message. What is the wonderful? Because this message is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is only speaking himself. And that's why it is wonderful. And whom he is speaking? To Arjuna. So this is also one of the reasons why this message is wonderful, because Lord is speaking to his devotee. And both of them are Mahatmas. They are very great persons. And that is also important conversation between two great souls. And so that's why also this message is wonderful. Prabhupada gives the reason. Then after that, Prabhupada mentions that point, that how we can make our life happy and successful. So we can follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. If we follow in the footsteps of Arjuna, then our life will be happy and successful. And Sanjaya has realized this, that we have to follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. And that's why he began to understand this instruction and explain this instruction to Dhritarashtra. And in the last verse, which Prabhupada is mentioning here, that he mentions that wherever Krishna and Arjuna is there, then victory is there. Like this, Sanjaya explained in the last verse. Then he has mentioned that this discussion is wonderful. So now in the next verse, he expresses his gratitude. And he acknowledges the mercy of Vyasdev also. In this 74th verse, he has acknowledged the mercy of Krishna himself. Now he acknowledges the mercy of the Vyasdev. Because of him, he could see what is going on in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Sanjaya explained in the next verse. Vyasa prasada shrutavan etad guhyam aham param yogam yogaishvarat Krishna saksha kathayatah swayam. And he is mentioning, by the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. And so Krishna personally, he was speaking this knowledge here. And I am heard this by mercy of Vyasadeva. So he is expressing his gratitude to Vyasadeva. So in purport, Prabhupada is telling this is very important verse. And why this is very important verse? Because Vyasa was the spiritual master of Sanjaya. And Sanjaya admits that it was by Vyasa's mercy that he could understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one can understand the Supreme Personality and through spiritual master. We cannot understand the Lord directly. And we can understand the Lord through medium of spiritual master only. And the spiritual master is the transparent via medium, Prabhupada said. Transparent via medium to see the Krishna, to understand Krishna. And Krishna is the master of all mysticism. He is a Yogeshwara. He is the master of all mystics and yogis which are there in the world, which are there in all over the world. And topmost yogi acts according to Krishna's instruction and he surrenders to Krishna. Yoginam api sarvesham. Then Prabhupada quotes the story of Narada. So he's telling that Narada is the direct disciple of Krishna and the spiritual master of Vyasa. Therefore, Vyasa is the bona fide as Arjuna because he comes in the disciplic succession. And Sanjaya is the direct disciple of Vyasa. Therefore, by the grace of Vyasa, Sanjaya's senses were purified and he could see and hear Krishna directly. One who directly hears Krishna can understand this confidential knowledge. If one doesn't come to the disciplic succession, he cannot hear Krishna. Yeah. So, Vyasadeva and Arjuna, both of them are bona fide. They are transparent via medium. Because of this, Sanjaya could see the Krishna. Because medium is transparent. If medium is not transparent, then one cannot see the Krishna. So disciplic succession is must. And without disciplic succession, one cannot hear Krishna and his knowledge. And spiritual master is the representative of Krishna. Then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada is telling in Bhagavad Gita, all the yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga are explained. And Krishna is the master of all such mysticism. It is to be understood, however, that Arjuna was fortunate enough to understand Krishna directly by the grace of Vyasa. And Sanjaya was also able to hear Krishna directly. So Sanjaya is able to see Krishna directly by the medium of Vyasa, but Arjuna, he was directly hear Krishna. And we also can follow in their footsteps. So actually, there is no difference between hearing directly from Krishna and hearing directly from a bona fide spiritual master like a Vyasa. So there is not a difference. Hearing from Parampara and hearing from Krishna directly. Therefore, according to Vedic system, on the birthday of the spiritual master, disciples conduct the ceremony called Vyas Puja. Therefore, to express our gratitude, because spiritual master, he is teaching the knowledge of Krishna. So to express that gratitude, we celebrate his birthday on the birthday of Vyasa. So Sanjaya, he has told that in this verse that he has expressed his gratitude to Vyasadeva. Because of his mercy, he is able to see. Then in the next verse, that Sanjaya, and the 76th and 77th verse. So Sanjaya tells that this pleasure is very thrilling. Like this he mentioned in 2 verses. In the 76th verse, he is telling, Rajan samsrutya samvadam imam adbhutam keshavarjunayoh punyam rishyami cha muhurmuhu. So Sanjay is telling, O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between the Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. So what we can understand here, that as Sanjaya, so what he is doing, he is repeatedly recalling this wonderful dialogue. So we also have to repeatedly study the Bhagavad Gita. As a Sanjaya, he is recalling the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna repeatedly. And by doing this, he is taking great pleasure and he is feeling thrilled. So we can see here that Sanjaya, wholeheartedly, with attentive mind, and he has heard this message, and that's why he is feeling like this. So if he has heard superficially, then this symptom will not arise in Sanjaya. He will not become thrilled, and or otherwise he will not feel pleasured. So we can understand that he has heard very attentively this message. So this is the symptom. If one hears this message very attentively, then he feels this message as thrilling. Then in purport, Prabhupada mentions that the understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental that anyone who becomes conversant with the topic of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous, and he cannot forget such talk. So this Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental, and the nature of Bhagavad Gita is like that only, Prabhupada is saying, that anyone and who becomes conversant with the discussion between Krishna and Arjuna, he becomes the righteous, he becomes the pious, and he cannot forget that discussion. And how we can develop such understanding, such transcendental position? One who hears the Bhagavad Gita from the right source. We have to hear from right source, directly from Krishna, attains full Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened and he enjoys life with a thrill, not only for some time, but at every moment. If one is really Krishna conscious, then his enlightenment increases. And with every moment, he feels the thrill. Not sometimes he feels and sometimes doesn't feel. So this will be the result if somebody understand the Bhagavad Gita and he hears from the right source. This is the Sanjaya's emotion. He's feeling thrilled. In the next verse also, he expresses his emotions and his experience after hearing the Bhagavad Gita. He mentions, Taccha samsrutya rupam ati adbhutam hare vismayo me mahan rajan rushyami cha punha punha. So Krishna is here Sanjaya, and he's expressing his experience, and after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he's telling, O king, to Dhritarashtra, he's telling, O king, as I remember this wonderful message of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. I struck with wonder. Like this, Sanjaya is mentioned. So Sanjaya, he is hearing and remembering, and he has heard the message of Bhagavad Gita once, but he is remembering the same message. And what here we can see is that in devotional service, so our activities are same only, and every day we do same activity, same holy name we chant, and same artis we sing, and same Lord we worship, and majority of the time we are in the same temple only, and we are connected to same temple, so we worship the same deities, and so everything is same in devotional service. But what is that? The pleasure we get and is different. So that's why the understanding which we get is different. That feeling, and Sanjay is expressing here. He is every time he is recalling the same message. But what is that? He is getting thrilled by remembering the same message. So what the materialistic people they do? They want to do different activity. They want to do new activity. Why they want to do new activity? Because they want new happiness. And that's why they are doing new activities. And they want to go for picnic in new place. And we go for picnic in the same place. And dham are fixed. And we go to dham year after year. And in the same place we go. But these materialistic people, they go to different places. And why? Because they want to be happy. And they think and they can be happy by going to new places, by doing new things. But eventually they are frustrated only. But devotees are only happy, although they are doing same thing, same activity. So we have to learn here from Sanjay. And so how we can take pleasure in the same activity, and we can be thrilled by doing the same thing, by recalling the same instruction, by chanting the same holy name. How we can be thrilled, and that quality we can aspire of Sanjay. Then one point we can learn here that Sanjaya is completely transformed, and after reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavad Gita from Krishna and Arjuna, and by mercy of Vyasa, he is completely transformed, and he is thrilled also, and he is feeling that happiness of studying Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna is also transformed by hearing from Krishna. But when Sanjaya is speaking, same Bhagavad Gita, which Arjuna has heard from Krishna, same Bhagavad Gita Sanjaya has spoken to Dhritarashtra, but Dhritarashtra is not transformed. So what is the reason Dhritarashtra is not transformed? So Acharyas, they have given the reason that Arjuna was submissive. So Pranipat was there in Arjuna. But Dhritarashtra doesn't have the quality of pranipat. But Dhritarashtra has quality of pariprashna. He was inquisitive. He is asking Sanjaya questions. And Arjuna also, he was asking questions. And so these both qualities are required. And so we should be submissive also, and we should ask a question also. Then only we can transform. If only one quality is there, then we cannot be transformed. This is the reason our acharyas, they have given. Somebody may can say also that Sanjaya preaching, whatever Sanjaya he was preaching, that his preaching was useless. And because Dhritarashtra is not transformed, and Sanjaya couldn't make Dhritarashtra devotee. And so that's why Sanjaya's preaching is useless. And Sanjaya is unsuccessful in his preaching. So what is the purpose of preaching? And so telling that Sanjaya preaching is useless, and that is also one of the wrong thing. And so what is the purpose of preaching? So our devotees, they are telling that purpose of preaching is that is also one of the purpose of preaching, to transform the audience, but that was not the main purpose of preaching. And so what was the primary purpose of preaching is not the productivity, means making others devotee, and that is also the purpose. That's why we are speaking, but that is not the primary purpose. So primary purpose is preaching, and speaking about Krishna, preaching is also our sadhana. And so, and by doing this sadhana, we are being purified, and our purification is taking place by speaking this message between Krishna and Arjuna. So that is the primary purpose. And so by speaking about Krishna, Sanjaya is purified, and that's why he is getting such a ecstatic emotion. He is thrilled. And so because his purification has happened, he is experiencing the transcendental pleasure. And so this is also one of many teachings devotees they have told from this verse. So in the purport to this verse, Prabhupada is telling that Sanjaya is speaking about the universal form. So Sanjaya has mentioned the wonderful form of Lord Krishna. So that wonderful form is Sanjaya is speaking about the universal form. That is about universal form. And some great devotees could also see the universal form when it was shown to Arjuna. So not all the devotees present there, they are able to see this universal form. So only Arjuna and some great devotees who have that divine vision, they are able to see. So in that, one devotee is Sanjay also, because of mercy of Vyasdev. And that Prabhupada mentions, because of mercy of Vyasa, he is able to see this universal form. Like this, Sanjaya tells his experiences. So now, at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, so Dhritarashtra has one question, has asked one question. To whom? To Sanjay. And so what was his question? So, what my son they are doing, and what happened there on the field of Kurukshetra. So now Sanjay is answering that question of Dhritarashtra. What he is telling, that Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So Krishna is, Sanjay is telling that wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystic, Yogeshwar, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So, Sanjaya is uh, is telling the future. So he's predicting the future here. That wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and his devotee, Arjuna is there. So both of them, wherever they are present, their victory will be also there. So indirectly is giving the answer to Dhritarashtra's question. So just I will summarize the purport. What Prabhupada is mentioning here is that so Prabhupada begins that Krishna establishes the opulence of renunciation on battlefield. How he is establishing? So he has become the charioteer of Arjuna. So like this, Krishna is explaining his opulence of renunciation, which is one of his opulence that he is explaining here. Brothers, Prabhupada mentions the prediction about Yudhishthir Maharaja's life. So what is the prediction? Because Krishna and Arjuna were on the side of Yudhishthir. His victory was certain. And after his victory, his kingdom would flourish more and more. And why? Because not only was he righteous and pious, but also a strict moralist. Never spoke a lie to anyone in his life. Because of his qualities, that his kingdom will flourish. So somebody may say that Krishna is inciting Arjuna, is not the moral. It is a immoral activity. So Prabhupada is giving response to such a person. So Prabhupada is telling Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction on morality. So one must become devotee of Krishna. And essence of all religion is to surrender to Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Then all other processes may be purifying. And purpose of all other processes that they should culminate in bhakti. And at last, they should surrender to Krishna. So this is the last word in morality and religion. So that's why last word in morality and religion. Therefore, surrender to Krishna. This is the verdict of the 18th chapter, and this is the verdict of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Then, as this is the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, so Prabhupada is summarizing the 18th chapter. So Prabhupada is telling the path of regulative principles according to the orders of social life and according to different courses of religion may be a confidential path of knowledge. But although the rituals of religion are confidential, meditation and cultivation of knowledge are still more confidential. And most confidential is devotional service, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto and Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. These two verses are the most confidential. So this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita and also the essence of the 18th chapter, like this. Then important subjects in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada is telling. So actual truth from Bhagavad Gita, we come to know that who is the actual truth? Krishna. is the actual and perfect, most perfect truths. Then 5 subject matters are there in Bhagavad Gita. What are they? Ishvara, Jeev, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. So these are the 5 principal subject matters. They are discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Also, the relationship among them, that is of Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, as told, inconceivable oneness and difference. That is also their relationship between them. Then after that, living entities are the marginal energy of Krishna and have a particle of independence. So living energy entities, and they are marginal. They are the atomic particle of Supreme Spirit. Thus, Lord Krishna may be compared like to the sun, and the living entity to the sunshine. Why? Because we are the living entity is the Amsha of the Lord, is the part and parcel of the Lord. Like sunshine is the part and parcel of the sun, and it is the Amsha of the sun. Sunshine is the Amsha of the sun. So the proper, after that, Prabhupada mentions that the living entity is situated between the 2 energies of the Lord. And because he belongs to the superior energy of the Lord, he has a particle of independence. By proper use of that independence, he's come under the order of Krishna. Thus, he attains his normal condition in the pleasure-giving potency. So, like Arjuna, he has agreed to act under the order of Krishna, and he becomes the he has achieved his constitutional position, normal condition, and in the pleasure-giving potency. And we can give pleasure to Krishna. We can not enjoy the pleasure ourselves. And thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of its conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. So like this, we have completed our study of this unit. So these last 5 verses, we have not read the purport, so all of you can read as a homework. Not come to 22nd also. It was our class. So just for 5 verses, you have to come. So I thought we can save time. So we have not read the purport of these 5 verses. So anybody has any question, something you have not understood, you can ask. You can ask me on WhatsApp also when you are studying something you have not understood.
Roji, 21st will not have the class?
21st exam is there.
Exam is there, yes.
Uh,
And one update was that 28th will be the closed book exam.
okay.
And OBA ended also 28th only. 29th is Rath Yatra.
Okay.
21st
Can
is your
send in
program,
group.
no problem.